Hi, thanks for joining today's webinar, Resilience. It's not about bouncing back. What you can do now to build resilience in the midst of disruption. Today, you're going to learn the 3 characteristics of resilient leaders and organizations, strategies you can use right now to increase your personal resilience or that of your team, and a framework you can use as a checklist to ensure that you're building all of the components of resilience. Our next host is the founder of Leadership Insights. She works with leadership teams facing disruption who want to increase the organization's capacity to adapt so they can emerge stronger and more effective faster. She's known for facilitating high-stakes meetings with challenging stakeholders, creating team alignment, and unraveling tough issues that hinder business results. Her book, Resilience, It's Not About Bouncing Back, became an international bestseller in 2 weeks last summer. Please welcome Jennifer Eggers.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Eggers with Leadership Insights, and what you see on the screen is the formal piece of what they always put up on paper in terms of why I'm here, but I wanted to tell you a little bit more about who I am and why I really am here to talk to you about the topic of resilience. So 15 years ago, I was a nationally ranked top 50 competitive water skier. I moved around a lot for work, so I was actually a state champion in 3 states. And I was burning the candle at both ends, really running hard with executive level roles at Bank of America and later as head of executive development at AutoZone, until my first car accident knocked me out of competition and brought me to a complete standstill. So just when I was ready to make a comeback about a year later, I was hit by an 18-wheeler on the interstate. And you'd have thought that that would have ended my skiing career, but I continued to try to rehab again, still while working. And on my first day back on the water a year later, I collapsed and had to be lifted back into the boat, diagnosed with a rare blood disorder, and learning that I would never ski again at the time was the final straw. So in spite of continuous waves of traumatic events and debilitating disruption, I kept going. And I left my corporate role and I launched Leadership Insights just as we headed into the recession in 2008. So it was shortly after that I asked myself the question, other than being just really hard-headed and refusing to give up, what had I done that could be replicated to get through it all and not only survive, but actually emerge stronger and more effective than I was before? So I researched everything I could get my hands on that was written about resilience. There wasn't much. I was hell-bent on figuring it out first, to figure out if others could learn something from it, and second, whatever it was, if that could be used to build more resilient organizations. And that was a passion that really stemmed from a desire to improve life in corporate America. So I will tell you I'm a resilience expert because I've lived it, personally and at work. My team and I created the only proven resilience framework that can be used to build both individual and organizational resilience. So through collaboration with the Adaptive Leadership Network at Harvard's Kennedy School, our own research and work with hundreds of clients, we have validated the framework and applied it to the difficult work of helping leaders create more resilient and courageous organizations. And I want to share that with you today. In times like this, knowing that your organization can and will come out on the other side of disruption is stronger than you went in is critical. It puts leaders back in control and it reduces stress. Resilience is not the bouncing back in the aftermath, but rather the power to be energized and elevated by disruption. There are some very specific things that I learned in building resilience that can be leveraged both by individuals and organizations. So as we prepare to emerge from the COVID crisis, organizations are in desperate need to accelerate recovery. And I would submit that resilience is still the most important skill for leaders today, and very few are talking about it, although perhaps more today than a couple weeks ago. But I'm here to share with you how you too can not only rebound from setbacks, but emerge stronger and more effective from disruption, including this one, as an individual and an organization. I've worked with corporate leadership teams in over half the 50 states and 11 countries over the last over 25 years. I've seen a lot of disruption and a lot of different approaches to managing it. There are a few things that will guarantee your ability to emerge energized and elevated by the kind of disruption we see today. And so this is what I do for companies, and it starts one leader at a time.